You're watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 3rd meeting for the Michigan City Common Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening and welcome to the Michigan City Common Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. We will start off with call to order by the council president. And before we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and a prayer, I just want to share as members and the president of the Michigan City Common Council that we recognize that many in our communities have families and friends serving in the military here at home and abroad. With the United States involvements in the conflict, we understand the very real impact it can have on our local families. Deployments and extended assignment place emotional and financial strains on households. There are many disruptions to employment, childcare, and daily routines. The uncertainties that comes with military service during times of conflict can also weigh heavily on loved ones waiting at home. We want our service members and their families to know that we are not alone, that they are not alone. We extend our sincere thoughts and prayers to each of you during this time. Your sacrifice and commitment do not go unnoticed. If there's anything the council or the mayor's office can do to assist, whether through local resources, coordinations of services, or community support, please do not hesitate to reach out. We are here for you, and we stand firmly in support of our military families. I share that as we all are aware of what is going on in this world of ours that we all reside in. So if you would all please silence your cell phones and electronic devices, join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of prayer, and to those near, far, and abroad.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, on roll call, please.
Mr. Beatrice,
Present.
Mr. Coulter,
Present.
Mr. Dabney,
Present.
Dr. Cora,
Present.
Ms. Lee, present, Ms. Moldenauer,
Present.
Mr. Nelson,
Present.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Present.
Ms. Tillman.
Present.
We have 9 present and no one absent.
And we do have a quorum. The council meeting will move forward. Next, we have approval of minutes, regular council hybrid Zoom, February 17th, 2026. Have all council members have the opportunity to review those minutes, and if there are any corrections or changes that needs to be done?
Motion to approve as presented. Support.
There's a motion, Mr. Beatrice, and a second by Dr. Cora. Madam Clerk, on the vote.
Mr. Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee, and Ms. Moldenauer.
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
Thank you. That approves our regular council hybrid Zoom for February 17, 2026 minutes. Reports of standing committees. We have reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee meeting.
Yes, I have a report of the Finance Committee meeting. And the March 3rd, 2006 Finance Committee meeting was called to order by Chairman Bryant Dabney at 6:06 p.m. To review and approve claims since the last meeting. Committee members, Councilman Dr. Cora and Councilman Beatrice, and City Controller Marilyn Wall were also present. Claims reviewed were $7,053.93 from the Riverboat Fund, $0 from Boyd Development, and $32,100 from the Rainy Day Fund, for a total claim docket of $39,153.93. Committee Chair Dabney asked for the other committees if there were any questions about the additional appropriations that we have on the agenda tonight. There were no questions. And I want to thank all the committee members for getting questions answered beforehand because I knew we might be running short of time because of a prior meeting. There were no other comments. And then Councilman Dr. Cora moved to recommend approval of the docket with a second from Councilman Beatrice, and the motion was approved unanimously. And there were no public comments. Finally, on a motion by Councilman Cora and a second by Councilman Beatrice, the meeting was adjourned at 6:10 p.m. But I want to look at some of the claims in detail as they were discussed in the meeting. From the Riverboat Fund, LaPorte Chrysler Inc. for $7,053.93. This was for monthly city vehicle leases. Once again, there were no dollars from the Boyd Development. And from the Rainy Day Fund, we had Housing Associates LLC for $20,000. And that was for drawings and technical specifications for the Millennium Plaza Fountain Demolition Project. Then we have Housing Associates LLC again for $12,100 for the Michigan City Annex Sanitary Extension. That is the project out on Highway 212. Once again, for a total claims docket of $39,153.93. Also, there was a discussion regarding the Riverboat and Rainy Day Fund statement of cash position. In the Riverboat Fund, we have $4,276,057.43. In the Rainy Day Fund, $1,321,810.42 for a total between the two funds of $5,597,867.85. And that concludes the Finance Committee report, March 3rd.
Thank you, Councilman Dabney. Next, we have reports from boards and commissions. Are there any reports from boards and commissions? Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Sorry, Mr. Glenvick. So with that being said, we did a motion.
We didn't do a motion for this.
May I entertain a motion?
Some support.
And Madam Clerk on the vote, please.
Mr. Preselinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer,
Aye.
and Mr. Nelson.
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
And the claims of March 3rd, 2026 has been approved. Next, we have reports from boards and commissions.
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I got a special announcement today. I'm not a free agent anymore. Last month, Mayor Angie appointed me to serve on the LaPorte County Alcohol and Beverage Commission. They needed someone that's a civil city resident to fill a seat, and I said she appointed me. I said, great news. Once a month, the first Thursday every month, I get to go to LaPorte and sit up there with these two beautiful women named Michelle and Lisa, and we get to approve and disapprove all the alcohol permits around the county, and it's a real important commission. So I just want to let you know that's what I'm doing now. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations. Councilman Dabney?
Yes, I just want to make a quick announcement about ALCO. I sit on the ALCO board as liaison from the council. And unfortunately, the report I was actually going to read is sitting on my desk at work. But I do have a fact that I do want to announce about ALCO. So it's going to be the shortest report ever. The Board of Works meeting that was done this week, that was the 5,000th meeting posted on the ALCO YouTube channel. Just to let you know how busy that is. And I will talk about this in more detail at the next meeting. Once again, I apologize for leaving that information on my desk at work, but I will have a more detailed report next meeting. Thank you.
Councilwoman Moldenauer?
Thank you very much, Madam President. Coming up in April will be Earth Month, so I have a series of announcements to make, actually. And these are events that are being sponsored by the Michigan City Sustainability Commission, and in many cases in partnership with collaborative organizations within our city. So coming up this Thursday, March 5th at 6:30 PM is Northwest Indiana Green Drinks, and we'll be having presentations about pollinator gardens, how to get started and how to expand one if you do have one. And Leslie Shad, who's a former board member of the National Wildlife Federation, and Kathy Sipple, who is resilience coordinator for Earth Charter Indiana. They're going to be making a very important announcement about a statewide initiative that's going to be happening. And this has been initiated by Northwest Indiana. So I'm very excited about this and looking forward to it. The title of their presentation is Gardening for Biodiversity, Basics and Beyond of Planting for Pollinators. You can join us on Save the Dunes Facebook Live or via Zoom, and you can get that Zoom link from MEM, that's short for Emily, at savedunes.org. I'm very much excited about this and looking forward to it. This past year, we've been working really hard to get Michigan City certified as the first wildlife habitat here in the state of Indiana. So we encourage people that have gardens to please get registered for that. My second announcement is we have scheduled the spring recycling workshop. I know a number of people weren't able to make that in February. So this is happening on Wednesday, April 15th at 5:30 PM, City Hall in the EOC room, which is right across the corridor here. And Sacha Guy Burns will be with us again. And we're encouraging people to bring those items that puzzle you. Should I trash it or should I recycle it? So physically bring those with you. And Sacha will help take us through the process of deciding how you decide what you should do with it. So again, that's on Wednesday, April 15th, 5:30 here at City Hall in the EOC room. The next event that is happening is the unbelievably 5th annual Earth Month Extravaganza. And that'll be happening on Saturday, April 25th from 12 PM to 3 PM at the Senior Center. And they're going to kick it off at 10 a.m. with a special beach cleanup, again with Sacha and members of our Michigan City Parks and Recreation Department. They'll have electric vehicles there. They'll be giving out free trees. We'll have tables from a lot of the environmental organizations there. Tables are still available, so if your group would like to have one, they're free of charge. I can let you know how to get in contact with Andy Jans Davis to be able to secure one of those. And then the last event, this one I'm beyond excited about. We're actually going to have a Saturday afternoon workshop on planting pollinator gardens. And we invite people to come to that. It's going to be on Saturday, May 9th, time to be determined because we're bringing together various people. We hope to have native plants there that you can practice planting in pots and take home with you and put in your yards and our gardens at home. And again, that's on May 9th, time to be determined. And that's going to be at the Senior Center also. So as you can tell, the Sustainability Commission has been very busy, and we will be giving our annual report in April during Earth Month like we've always done. And we hope to continue that tradition and not skip a year again. So thank you.
Dr. Cora?
Thank you, Madam President. I attended the first meeting of the Michigan City EDC, and it was a very good meeting. We got an update on all the economic activities and also the housing development that is happening around Michigan City. And we heard a nice presentation from our water department head, Chris Johnson, about the improvements to the infrastructure in the water department. And I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Clarence House on being inducted into the Commercial Real Estate Hall of Fame, Midwest Commercial Real Estate Hall of Fame. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilman Przybylski?
Madam President, I have a couple reports. And number one, I am liaison to the LaPorte County Solid Waste District Board. And our director, Clay Turner, will be retiring at the end of May this year. So the committee is out looking for someone to take his place. And if anyone is interested in applying for the position, let me know. And because I'm on the selection committee, and I can give you the contact information, who to contact and where to send your resume to. And also, more importantly, I just liaison to the Human Rights Commission. I just want to, and we just concluded Black History Month in the month of February, and just want to thank everyone that participated in the Black History Month celebration. All the way through the month, there were many events that took place, and to me, one of the probably the special event was the awards for the essay contest that was given out last Friday. And I just want to announce the winners. First place from Edgewood School. And there was 3 different age groups here. So the first group, Deanna Taylor, she won first place out of Edgewood. Aubrey Nelson, she got second place from Edgewood School. And Gerara Coleman, he got third place from Edgewood. Charlotte Russell, first place from Krieger. Chase Roberts, second place from Barker Middle School. And Marhaya Spears, she got third place from Barker. And Sophia Vaughn got first place in the high school category from Marquette High School. So I just wanted to announce all the winners, congratulate them all again, and congratulate Marty Corley for chairing the Black History Month celebration, and the Human Rights Commission for all the hard work they did on the judging of the essays and making Black History Month a great celebration. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Prisbalinski. Are there any other reports from boards and commissions?
No.
Any other reports from boards and commissions? There are none. Reports of special or select committees? Reports of special or select committees? Report of select or special committees? There are none. Reports from mayor or other city officers and departments?
Good evening, Council. Steve Forker, Chief of Police, Michigan City Police Department.
Good evening.
Again, just wanted to provide the monthly stats for February for the Michigan City Police Department. Again, hopefully you saw these in your inbox, and I did add a chart to it. So if you want to revisit that, I sent a chart from this evening a little bit later to just follow up with some of this stuff. Again, total calls for service was 2,910, which was down significantly from January. Total disturbances was 49. Reports taken was 283. Shots fired calls was 23, which was down 8 from the previous month. Again, by ward there for shots fired was 5 and 1. Ward 2 was 4. Ward 3 was 7. Ward 4 was 3. Ward 5 was 2. And Ward 6 was also 2. And again, the chart that I did send you all, I did print a couple copies if you guys want to pass it along, but it's essentially just be a chart now that'll go along with that shots fired. That'll be tracking those essentially by color. Each ward is a different color, and it will track those by months as we move along. This just shows essentially December, and then January, and then February. That way we can see, you have a visual representation month to month, right? So just help show what's going on essentially in your ward, right? Again, just the current trend we saw last month in Ward 4, we saw a significant spike here on the top, and then again a drastic drop in this month, right? So again, that'll just help us give us a visual representation of what's going on in each ward, again, and just month to month. So again, I did include that in the email, so you should have that. And then also I wanted to note too, just something that we are consistently seeing an increase of our public records requests. The Division of Professional Standards did process 25 of those during the month of February. They did process 268 expungements. There was a change in state law I think 2 months ago, that indicated basically we saw a drastic increase, I would say, in automatic expungements. So for cases that were dismissed, right? So when those cases are dismissed through the prosecutor's office, those records are expunged, right, automatically now without anyone having to file for that. So again, we've seen a drastic increase of those. At 1 month, I think we saw, I want to say it was in November or December, we saw essentially 1,000 expungements come into our office. So again, that's part of this processing here, is getting through those. And then we also saw 29 online submissions for a records request. I'm sorry, 26 online submissions for records requests as well. Also, so again, a busy January month for us. Again, we did see obviously a decrease in those shots fired calls, in which we're obviously addressing. And again, so. Yeah. Questions, thoughts?
Are there any, Councilman Beatrice?
Could you clarify the expungement discussions here? Because are these cases where evidence was created, given to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor said, forget it, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of factors, right, that the prosecutor's office is weighing in some of these. Again, I don't want to sit up here and cite the state law or case law regarding that. Again, not in my expertise. Catherine Urbancic takes care of that. But yes, we have seen essentially an increase in those. It basically indicates that cases that are dismissed through the prosecutor's office, again, those are cases in which maybe they feel are dismissed without prejudice, or dismissed in which they could be refiled, right? Those are things. But when they're classified as dismissed, essentially, right, that expungement comes our way, right, through the court, right? It's all
1,000 of those in 1 month,
because it was a backlog of things.
Oh.
That's why. That's why it was a significant amount at once, because of a backlog, right? Because I think when that law came into effect, it was records from this date to this date, right? From this date going forward, right? So anything that was previously dismissed all came to us at once.
Okay.
That's why there was such an influx in that, right? Yeah, we don't see cases like that being dismissed on a monthly basis.
Frustrating.
No. That would be very frustrating. But no, it was essentially because of the window, right, in which the state law addressed that. So yeah, thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the council for Chief Walker? Councilwoman Moldenauer?
Yeah, I just really want to thank you for the visuals
Mhm.
that you're sending, because that really is able to register with my brain, and that's really going to help tremendously.
Yeah, I'll give credit to Councilman Prespolinski, right? He called just thinking the same thing, right? I think it just helps us all visually seeing it, and then you can see it month to month. And again, it's right now it looks like huge things like that, but that's just 2 or 3 months of data. Hopefully we'll see that go this way,
And
in the grand scheme of things. So.
I was very happy to see that my Ward 6 was 2, 2, 2
Yeah,
for
it's
3
good.
months and the lowest. So I hope to get it down to 0. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the council? If there are none, thank you so
Thank you.
much, Chief.
Good evening. Barrett Taylor, Fire Chief, Michigan City Fire Department. You should have gotten emailed our data sheet for the month. We're trying a different way on this, so it's new to me. So we're trying to break it down a little different way, because I was asked last month in an email about 3 fires that was reported. That's how we're toned out to a possible structure fire, and it depends on how it's put back into the system when they do the report as to what actually happened. So, and I was asked, where were the fires, whatever. They didn't see them in the paper or anything. So we're going to try to go a different route with this to break it down a little better. So, so for the month of February, we had 6. We were toned out for 6 possible structure fires, or 6 fires. 3 of those were outside fires, so a couple dumpsters and some grass. And then the structure fires, we were toned out for 3 possible structure fires. One of those was an outlet in the kitchen, and the other one was a washer that sparked but never actually caught on fire. The third one I can't find. They may have changed it in a different way when they put it in for their reports. Hazardous situation, hazardous chemical, fuel spills, anything like that. We had 16 of those. We had, three of those were just investigations. We had 239 medical calls, 190 of those were illness, 42 were injuries, and 7 were other miscellaneous things. Public service, 26, 17 of those were, citizens assist with like a lift assist, helping the medics, as well. 7, medical alarms, and 2 were, fall under public service. 2 of those were, weather related. So snow issues, something with the snow, anything like that. So like I said, without looking at the actual reports, I can't tell you exactly what it was. One rescue, not 100% sure what that one is. We were looking for that, couldn't find that. But it was listed under a rescue. Others were non-emergencies, such as false alarms, good intent, canceled en route. Those were 46. And we helped PD once, and that was a total of 335. What was forgotten to be put on there was what that was over last year. So I don't have that. But I feel like when I looked at the numbers, those were it's actually less than what it was. And Narcan was used one time by us. That doesn't mean Narcan's used any less. That's just once by us. Medics could have already administered it or anything like that. Also last month, I had received an email after the meeting. So I want to touch on, does anybody have any questions about the data report first? No. Councilwoman Lee had mentioned, gave condolences for one of our retired firefighters that had passed away due to cancer. And I mentioned how there's a high rate within firefighters and firefighting in general. And the question was asked in an email to me that I pointed out that retired firefighters had higher rates of cancer than the normal population, and asked if that would be attributed to what we do in the fires and the gases and everything given off in the fires. And yes, that is definitely a part of it. And it was asked if better equipment or anything like that would help. We actually have very good equipment. Our equipment's, we follow NFPA. So it's not an issue with our equipment. It's what gets into our equipment, into our gear. We track that along with us. It gets in the trucks. It gets on our gear. It's our gear. It touches the seats in the trucks. We carry it along with us. So we try to mitigate those things, try not to wear our gear all the time. We take it off as soon as we can. Try not to leave our dirty clothes on, take a shower when we get back, right? So what I wanted to do with this, I wanted to give some statistics, which I had done in that email, but I cleaned it up a little bit here, made it a little more streamlined. Because I feel like a discussion, I'd like to sit down and have a discussion with whoever may be interested in that and see where we can go with this and be a little more proactive. But a National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, study found that firefighters have a 9% higher rate of cancer diagnosis and a 14% higher rate of cancer-related deaths than the general population. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is part of the World Health Organization, has classified firefighter exposure as a carcinogenic to humans. What we're exposed to, firefighter exposure, is carcinogenic. And you can find that in volumes 98, which was published in 2010, and volume 132 from 2032. So essentially it's saying that the firefighter in general, that job is hazardous to your health. Other than burning to death, you're likely to get cancer. It's carcinogenic. San Antonio Fire Department, between 2013 and 23, in that 10-year span, had 8 line of duty deaths attributed to cancer. And since 2023, where they implemented some proactive measures, they've had none. They've had 0. And to show, I was also asked with our state, specifically with our state outside here, I was asked, well, what does the state look at? So I was able to get those numbers because they were just put out. Last year, approximately 2,200 screenings in the state were performed last year on firefighters. Approximately 200 of those had alerts, something that they needed to check out, and 20 to 30 of those were actually early cancer with they had no symptoms, and they were found by a screening that was done. And it's such an issue to the point where the federal government has recognized it as an issue as well as a line of duty issue. And December the 19th of 25, the Honor Our Fallen Heroes Act was signed into law. I believe that was a part of the National Defense Appropriations Act, whatever, and it was included in there. So it has been signed into law. So if you meet the certain criteria and you die from cancer as a firefighter, or once you're on off the job, whatever, if you meet the criteria, you will get it'll be considered a line of duty death and it's federally recognized and you get paid out for that. Granted, you'd still like your family member around, but they're trying to make something right for, recognizing that it's an issue. And for myself, for our department, I may be missing a couple of people, but what I know for certain, in my 22 and a half years on the job, I know of 10 firefighters that I worked with, not that were already retired or anything like that. 10 firefighters that were already on the job I worked with personally have had cancer. 6 of those have died. I think 5 of those was diagnosed while on the job, right? So think about where you've worked for 20 years. Have you ever known 10 people that you worked with that had cancer, right? So we do have a higher rate. And like I said, are we going to escape it? Absolutely not. It's just an inherent danger with the job. It's something you accept, whether you like it or not, But there are measures that we can take to kind of get started to try to mitigate some of that, try to lessen the chances. Like I said, we're not going to completely escape it. And to get into it, we can get way off into the weeds and go down some rabbit holes, man. And it is, you're going to spend a lot of time reading, looking, and you're going to realize it's the stuff that people are doing in other departments. We can't do that. I already know that, but there are things that we can do. So if anybody wants to sit down and talk, wants to give me a call, wants to give me an email, feel free. I'm more than happy to get deeper into the discussion with anyone, right? I just wanted to throw those numbers out there and kind of just let that be known. It's not strictly retirees. It's individuals that are on the job. So any questions on that? Anything?
Dr. Cora?
Yeah, thank you for the nice presentation. I would appreciate if you can send me information about what San Antonio has done.
I'll look deeper into that. It was an article I happened to come across while I was looking up certain numbers and stuff and statistics. And it was something that was recently published as to what they had done, but I will get that together and I will send it.
Just email it to me.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lee?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Chief, for that presentation. You mentioned the 2,100 screenings in the state. Did that include our firefighters?
I can't say yes. I can't say no. Because like I had it done 3 years ago at a conventions when I was a union officer. So some of our guys may have done it when they went to a convention, like maybe sometime last year. So I can't say yes. I can't say no. They didn't come to our department and do it, but our guys could have gone to another function that was put on by the state and had it done. Because they do offer that quite a bit.
Is there a way to bring them here for our full department?
I have all that information. Yes.
Could you send that to me, please?
I will do that.
Thanks.
Councilwoman Moldenauer?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you so much for your report. And my heart goes out to you and your fellow firefighters because I know you do have a higher rate of cancer and death related to that. My first cousin, Richard Moldenauer, worked for the Michigan City Fire Department, and he did attain the rank of chief before he retired. Fortunately, he's still alive at well over 80 years old, so I don't know how he escaped.
Yeah, it's kind of luck of the draw.
Yeah. So we have a friend in Representative Randy Novak who's down at the state legislature now. So I think it would be worth exploring with him actually getting the cost of these screenings covered for every single firefighter in the state of Indiana, which would then cover everybody here in Michigan City since it is such a prevalent issue. And then also, has some of the PFAS firefighting foam been outlawed or banned by
there's certain foams and they were to have disposed of that and we have a lot of things too when you talk about the PFAS. You see, that's another, you can get deep into that. Our gear actually has that, and I have to find it. I had went about 6 years ago. I went to Orlando for a conference, and I'm not a doctor, so some of it was way beyond me, but they've done a lot of studies and seeing, like, they got real deep into checking individuals. They have a fire, they check their urine and see how long things stay in their system. The gear, you take the gear, every time I got a set of gear, I would wash it 3 times before I would use it. They go right to the washer 3 times, boom, boom, boom. Does it help? I don't know. But it's the flame retardant, it has the PFAS in it. They're trying to develop PFAS gear, and I think there's only one company out there right now that I haven't looked into, but I understand it's quite expensive and it's not worth.
So that would be gear without the PFAS.
Exactly.
Okay.
Financially, it would just be, I don't know if it's even worth it, right? Maybe once we get down the road a little ways and it's not such a new thing. But I know a law has been passed that if you can purchase PFAS free gear, you're supposed to. So I don't know the ins and outs of that. And you speak of the state. I know that was something that had been worked on. I went to Ottawa in 22 for international convention, and Tony Murray, which is the PFFUI president, Professional Firefighter Union in Indiana's president, there was a company up there, and he started looking into the product they had. My wife actually tracked him down and says, "You got to come and check this out." And he was very excited by it. And I think that was one of the other items that one of the ones they're kind of piloting in the state. From what I understand, they were trying to work with that and see if they could actually use that as a test. There's other tests we can do. We do our annual physicals. They sent something with that. The price, I can't, we can't swing that. But like I said, we can sit down and talk. There's other ways of going about things.
Well, that's why I'm thinking of, approaching it from a state level.
Sure.
And just getting a law passed.
anything-
It's going to
anything that-
cover the testing for every single firefighter, full-time and volunteer.
That's
I
what
think
they
that
were
would
trying
be
to
a
do, was
good
go
thing.
and mandate
Yeah.
it for the state. I don't know 100% where that's at. I was going to check into that, but I've been busy. So I will look into that. I know they were trying that, and I don't know where that stands right now.
Yeah, and I know Randy would be, who used to be fire chief here right now, would be very amenable to introducing. The other thing that I'm not sure all of our residents may understand is that in addition to the PFAS, of course, the smoke and the particulate matter that comes with fighting a fire is something that also affects the cancer rate, especially for lung cancer, COPD, and also heart disease.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
thank you for your work and for everything that your firefighters do for our community.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the council? There are none.
Thank you very
Chief
much.
Taylor.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Ms.
Council President, council members, clerk, deputy clerk. A couple of things. First, I just came back from DC, Washington, DC, and I will say that, first of all, I missed the beginning of this, but my heart goes out to the families that are impacted by the deaths of our servicemen and women. Also, we have several Michigan City families that are impacted with family members who are serving currently overseas. So we just want to make sure we keep them lifted up in prayer for our Michigan City residents that are actually deployed right now. We have a couple of things, and with the fire department and some of the things, I know State Rep Randy Novak was supposed to be here tonight. He has a proclamation for us for the city for 190 years that he plans to present, but he was double booked. But he did pass some legislation assisting volunteer firefighters with equipment and gear and all of that. So I'm sure that's going to be a priority for him in the coming. Next year is a budget session. It's a long session. So I'm sure more to come for that. So I suggest maybe a workshop of some sort at some point in time from maybe the Public Health and Safety Committee, but that would be all up to you to kind of sit down and really talk about and dig into some of the data. We have several things before us. Congratulations to the Black History Month winners that were here this past week. Appreciate them. But we have several appropriations that are on for this evening. Just a little background. So last year, we, in our budget, in our actual budget, we had over $5 million in riverboat transfers. We only used 2 million of the 5 million. So we were tight on our budget. As I shared with you for the last 2 years, is that we're only going to ask you to we're only going to transfer money when we need it. Even though we're budgeting it, I've asked the departments we will only transfer the money as we need it and when we need it and towards the end of the year. Versus just automatically giving them their money so that they spend it. So we've been watching the budget closely. So as you know, first thing is salt. Big deal. All the cities can just just Google SALT in Indiana and some of these other places. And we know that SALT was at a premium this year. And I know that this year I've asked Sean, and I know he'll get up and talk about it, to make sure we have enter in a contract through the state, because you don't want to be, last in to get your stuff. You want to be already on the list to get your SALT versus at some enormous rate. So he can talk more about that. The other thing, I know there's a resolution here for the build grant. This is the second year for this. We did receive a Safe Streets second grant, which is really the beginning of putting our plan together. So Safe Streets, we have a total of $350,000. The first bid went out for the 100,000 that we received, and then we just were notified that we got another 250, so it's $350,000. The build grant is a little bit different. This is a planning grant. Last time that we submitted this, we were kind of cherry picking, parts of the boulevard. And what we realized is that Michigan Boulevard is not included in our comprehensive plan at all. There was a comprehensive plan done in 2016, and Michigan Boulevard is not a part of it. So we spent the money, but we did not include Michigan Boulevard. So we've been, for the last few weeks, I submitted it last week before I left. And so it's a $2.5 million grant that you all have in your packet, but it's really creating a corridor plan for the entire Michigan Boulevard from 94 all the way down to 12. Because we were trying to, I think we get more points if we look at it more comprehensively than not. So we did get letters. I included all the letters of support from Congressman Mervan. We still have a few coming from the Senate, one of our senators. I did run into someone from Senator Young's office. So we will have all that. We have until the 14th to continue adding letters of support. So if the council, would like to do letters of support, I will add that to the packet as well. So that was completed. So that is on your agenda for tonight. Talked about the SALT. The other one is for police and fire. And again, this is for radios that need to be replaced for police and fire. Police came to me needing to replace the radios. And so I said, well, you need to talk to your brothers over at the fire department, because if we're going to make a purchase, we need to do it all now and all at once. So you will see that on the agenda. And again, that is something that's just a requirement that we need to do. We need to replace them. We also have our additional appropriation to buy out leases for some vehicles that need to be replaced. One thing that we are looking at that isn't on here, and I'll share with you, there is a grant that we're looking at with Clean Cities for some electric vehicles. I was able to test drive one with Chief Forker, and we might be able to get maybe 4 vehicles for $50,000. So that's a deal. Hopefully 4, fingers crossed for that. The last thing that I'll bring up is the Fetters Alley Destination Playground. So we are in the nth hour home stretch of this thing, and to vet this, we need about $600,000 to actually go to bid. And the reason why I'm saying that is we have $750,000 of ARPA money that has to be spent this year, but we also have $1 million that we received from Congressman Mervan, and we also have another $1 million we received from the Healthcare Foundation. So we don't want to lose this money. We are still fundraising though. So this money that you're appropriating will be last in. So let's say we bid and it comes in under budget, we may not use any of this money. We are having a funders meeting. It's not going to be this Friday. We had to move it to next Friday, Friday the 13th, where we're going to invite anyone who's interested in learning more about the project, show the video. Yes, Don, I had to move the date. Yes. So the 13th, and invite funders to come out. So 9:00 Is that correct? 9 o'clock on Friday, the 13th, here in the EOC. If there's anyone interested in learning more about a destination playground, we would, ask you to come out, ask questions. If you know people who would like to contribute to this kind of thing, we're asking for fund. We have a fund over at the Unity Foundation. So it will be, you'll receive a tax break. But it's important that we move forward with it so that we don't lose the money that we've already received for the project. So I just wanted to share those, updates with you. Any questions for me?
Are there any questions from the council for the mayor?
So, thank you.
There are none. Thank you, Mayor. Next on our agenda, we have petitions.
There are no petitions.
Madam Clerk, on communication.
Correspondence was received in the clerk's office on February 24th from Attorney Barry McDonald scheduling the formal public hearing regarding the petition for development standard variance located at 107 Nevada Avenue. The clerk's office was advised by Mayor Angie on February 18th to share the following correspondence with the council. NIPSCO hosts community customer care centers across Northwest Indiana. Customers invited to learn about billing, financial assistance, energy efficiency, and investment. NIPSCO is ensure safe and reliable service. Correspondence was also received on the 18th from the Indiana Department of Revenue regarding the municipal wheel tax disbursement of February 2026.
And Madam Clerk, if you would, on our first resolution by title only for this evening.
A resolution by title only approving submission of application for the grant for the City of Michigan City from the U.S. Department of Transportation for better utilizing investments to leverage development build grant program and supporting the local match per grant. And this is said grant. This is introduced by Ms. Tillman and Ms. Dr. Cora.
Thank you. I'll like to start, and I'll just like to say, I am definitely in full support of this resolution. Due to that, I do represent the Fifth Ward, which is the east side of Michigan City, and the corridor where this build grant program will be utilized. And as we all know, by being able to do this matching grant, this is going to also help in the vital routes for commerce, residents, and visitors. Improvements along the corridors. It's going to enhance safety, improve traffic flow, and strengthen economics development opportunities along the entire stretch, as the mayor stated as well. Also, being a representative of the Fifth Ward, I've had the opportunity to learn and to understand how important the strategic infrastructures of the investments is to our neighborhoods. And this is something that the residents of the Fifth Ward have been longing for, to see the change. And again, I just ask all the council members to be in support of this. And if someone also, when the opportunity comes, I would like to get this approved for this evening. Dr. Cora?
Thank you, Madam President. In addition to what you have said and what the mayor has said, I just want to add that with all the new housing developments that are going to happen in our city, this most important artery that brings traffic into our community, I think if we have a good plan and redevelopment plan for this, it will be great. And the $2.5 million grant, it's a build grant, and it needs a $500,000 match from the city, and that'll come from the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission, and the match will come from the TIF. I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to open this up for public comments on this resolution.
Dr. Cora took the words out of my mouth. I forgot to state that this is Redevelopment Commission money that was a part of their annual plan that they put out. They have grant money set aside for our matches, and this is coming from, we have the East Side TIFs, but also know that most of Michigan Boulevard is now in a TIF. We connected those TIFs in 2023. is when that happened. So this is an opportunity to use some of that funding, but also know, again, and with these additional appropriations, and there'll be more to come, is that we did receive at the end of the year a $5.8 million permit fee from the data center project at the end of the year. And also let me share too that last year our planning department brought in $1 million in permit fees outside of the data center. So that was during a March through December timeframe. We've more than doubled, tripled, what we typically bring in. So that's how busy the planning department is. I know people complain, and I'm like, yeah, it's a new, younger team. When I say younger, I mean younger in background, not necessarily age. But they are doing a great job, especially with the new software. So there's funds that we're making sure fiscally that we're secure. So like I said, I'm only going to ask if we just need something, right? But also know last year we got the bill passed that we'll start receiving our money from Gary in August or September. So over the next 4.5 years, we're going to receive $8 million. Our riverboat funds have gone down, of course, but we've made all the important strides in cutting certain things and bringing opportunities with these grants to kind of offset that. So a grant like this could be significant for us in the future. So I hope you support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comment on this resolution?
I did have my light on.
This is public comment.
Oh,
I got you.
Oh, it comes later. I'm sorry.
And again, with our public comments, and this is for the council chambers decorum, just please keep in mind that this is for comments only, and comments are for 3 minutes. If there is something particular that anyone is requesting, this is not a time of the Q&A, but we will be happy to answer any questions via email, or give us a telephone call, or we can set up a meeting to have discussions. Thank you. If you would please state your name and your address.
Paul Przybolinsky, 1716 Washington Street. Well, I guess that's why we have a public input, but I couldn't ask no questions or get anything answered because I didn't see the agenda till today. But I was wondering, how much are you going to actually spend in the long run on Michigan Boulevard? Because you're responsible, the city's responsible for it all the way out to the airport now. And the Safe Streets money, did it have anything to do with, like, what was that doing in the city? What were we doing with that money? I heard about it, but I didn't understand where it was being spent and what for. Now, you already passed that, and I understand that even to pave Michigan Boulevard would be in the millions. So can somebody even answer that? Because this is not an ordinance. This is a resolution that you're going to vote on it tonight. So, I mean, the public needs to know something. Somebody ought to explain more about what you're going to do with redevelopment money. Thank you.
I can be short and sweet. So with federal dollars, you have to have the planning grant first before you can do implementation. We are at least because of where we reside and our poverty rate and CDBG and all these different things, our percentage could be much lower, right? So we do CCMG, we do all these different things. So you have to get the planning grant first before you can even apply for an implementation grant. Now, the implementation for Michigan Boulevard, we're talking, that's a 20 million. Former Councilman Paul Przybolinsky is correct. This is a 20-something million project when it's all said and done. Now, we probably gonna have to bite size that and bite off a little piece of an elephant each time. but you have to have the plan first before you can even apply for those dollars. You know, this year we wanted to pave certain portions of Michigan Boulevard. Small portion was like $1 million. It's not cheap. It's not cheap by any means, and we know that. But you have to start somewhere because we don't have $20 million to spend to do it. So why not find, 80%, 90% funds from somewhere else to do it, and then use our TIF dollars to kind of supplement it. So that was the intent. The intent is that we go after the planning grant to get the implementation grant. But that's the order. You have to start when we don't have a plan. Safe Streets is a little bit different. Safe Streets is really all over the city. It's about misaligned intersections, ADA. A lot of the money is going to be a lot of workshops and public input sessions for the community. We talked about, those misaligned, like over on East Chicago, Woodland and Cool Spring. There are a lot of streets that are misaligned. And Safe Streets it does an inventory. It kind of looks at all of the areas, especially where there are high accident rates. So that's what the Safe Streets grant is for, and it's about sidewalks, implementation of all that. So it's really a comprehensive inventory of how do we correct some of those areas that are misaligned. And some of those areas you've all brought up to me already, and those will be evaluated. So that's what Safe Streets is.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any other public comment on this resolution? If there are no other public comments on this resolution, public comments are now closed. Comments from the council, Councilman Przybylski.
Yeah, Madam President, I want to be added as a co-sponsor on this resolution. And being a councilman at large, that is also part of my jurisdiction. And it's been, I want to say 16 years since anything's been done, since the last renovation project to Michigan Boulevard. And there are a lot of unsafe crosswalks, because I know back in Mayor Mears' administration, I was out there with the street department cutting down flowers and bushes so that people could have a safe access across Michigan Boulevard. And yeah, no doubt. I mean, everyone here in this room knows that the roadway and the infrastructure there is worn out. It's not old, it's just worn out, and it's time to replace it. And as the mayor said, we have to start with the planning portion of it first, and that's what this resolution provides, is the planning money for that.
Thank you, Councilwoman Moldenauer.
Thank you, Madam President. I would also like to be added as a sponsor on this. I didn't realize this extended all the way out to the interstate. So much of that portion of Michigan Boulevard from around Carroll out to the interstate there does include Ward 6. So I think it's important that I support this, and it's a good idea to begin planning now. I'm also going to send out a wish list item, and I don't know if this is possible or not, but those concrete barriers that were put up several years ago, another one of them was run into at the corner of Highway 12 on 2nd Street and Michigan Boulevard. And I think those are a disaster. I don't think they're safe. I've seen people run into them, knock them down. For me, it's really hard to see around those when I'm trying to make turns, left-hand turns off of Michigan Boulevard. As the liaison to the Sustainability Commission, I would really like to request that rain gardens be considered, that a lot of that runoff from the street could be gathered in those areas and then dissipated gradually. So a lot of that water won't be going into the city sewer system. That was done very successfully on Washington Street, and I think it looks great and it's serving a good purpose. So, Skylar, my wish list item, if you'll write that down. Thank you.
Councilman Dabney.
I'd like to make if there's no other comments, I'd like to make a motion. You have a comment?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go first.
I'll be really quick. I'd like to also be added as a sponsor. Thank you.
Councilman Dabney,
I make a motion to approve.
Support.
Madam Clerk on the vote, please.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice.
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora.
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Mullenhour,
Aye.
and Mr.
Aye.
And this resolution has passed. Next, we have, Madam Clerk, our next resolution, please, by title only.
A resolution by title only recognizing and honoring, celebrating Naomi Anderson Day on March 1st annually and perpetuity. And this is introduced by Ms. Mullenhour.
And would the sponsor have any comments they'd like to make?
I would like to have permission to read this resolution in its entirety, and I will go as quickly as I can. Also, I want to apologize to the clerk's office for the confusion regarding dates and getting the document to you. I'm sincerely sorry. So recognizing and honoring, celebrating Naomi Anderson Day on March 1st annually and in perpetuity. Whereas Naomi Bowman Talbert Anderson was born in Michigan City, Indiana on March 1st, 1843 to free blacks Elijah and Gilly Ann Bowman, and whereas Naomi Anderson was initially barred from attending the segregated public school until the school read her poetry, and then she was admitted to public school in Michigan City, Indiana, which was the only formal education she received. And whereas at age 26, Naomi Anderson spoke at the first Women's Rights Convention held in Chicago, Illinois, becoming a public figure known throughout the country as a controversial and fiery speaker. And whereas Naomi Anderson's writings were published in hundreds of newspapers throughout the United States, and she spoke to tens of thousands of people during her lifetime, advocating for human rights, women's right to vote, orphans, temperance, and for, quote, a solution to the race problem. And whereas, with great courage, Naomi Anderson was known throughout the country for her eloquence, moral force, and life of activism, while fighting the dual oppression for being both a person of color and female. And whereas in the year 2020, the Michigan City Main Street Association and Celebrating Naomi Anderson project team received an Indiana Humanities and Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, quote, Preserving Women's Legacy, unquote, grant for recognizing Naomi Anderson with a sculpture designed by artist Bernard Williams, honoring her life, which has been installed in Charles R. Westcott Park at US 35 and US 12 in Michigan City, Indiana. And whereas a young member of the Boys and Girls Club of LaPorte County in Michigan City suggested a special day be designated to honor our hometown heroine while listening to a presentation about Naomi Anderson by Carnessa Carnes, Bonnie Schaff, and Cheryl Chapman. And whereas a book entitled Turn It Around, Freedom Bound, for preschool children, authored by storyteller Cheryl Chapman and illustrated by teacher Dion Garner, was published and presented to attendees at Paladin Head Start and Imagination Station. And whereas another book entitled Turn It Around, The Life and Words of Naomi Anderson for elementary children, written by Cheryl Chapman and illustrated by the third grade students at Pine Magnet School for the Fine and Performing Arts, under the direction of art teacher Holly Beatles, was showcased by them via a multimedia performance choreographed by Melly Hoppy. And whereas a theater work entitled Sister Suffragettes uplifted Naomi Anderson with lyrical poetry, live music, and shadow puppetry, premiered at Tarkington Stage in Carmel, Indiana, was authored and performed by Ming Joy Washington, a poet, curator, and critic. And whereas a documentary film titled Discovering Naomi Anderson, features sculptor Bernard Williams getting to know Naomi Anderson and follows the process he used to create the sculpture, was written and directed by Rana Siegel, an award-winning documentarian. And whereas, due to circumstances of history, Naomi Anderson has not received the national recognition which she so richly deserves, although she was a dynamic force, leaving an indelible mark on American history well beyond 1899, the year she passed on, leaving it to her hometown to honor this daughter of Michigan City. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Michigan City, Indiana, honors the indelible mark on American history made by Michigan City native Naomi Anderson by naming March 1st annually in perpetuity, celebrating Naomi Anderson Day in Michigan City, Indiana. And I just want to mention that this is coming at the very beginning of Women's History Month and at the very end of Black History Month. So it is so appropriate. And I also want to recognize Faye Moore, who's with us this evening. She served on the project team which created the sculpture during 2 years of the pandemic. And just thank you for your leadership and assistance in that project, Faye. And we had 8 other women that served on that committee and accomplished this. So, thank you.
Thank you. I will open this up for public comment on this resolution.
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. Happy Women's History Month, especially our 3 council women, our clerk's office women. I also want to recognize March 1st is also a PFC Danny Bruce Day in Michigan City. That was the day on March 1st, 1969, that PFC Bruce, he's a brave young 18-year-old Marine. He paid the ultimate sacrifice while serving his country. He did it while saving the lives of his fellow Marines, and he was posthumously awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Mayor Perry actually made a proclamation for that in 2020. I really want to thank him for that. This is how I want to wish Mayor Angie happy birthday Thursday.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on this resolution? Any other public comments on this resolution? If there are no other public comments on this resolution, public comments are now closed. Comments by the council. Councilman Dabney.
I'm waiting to see if there are any other comments you want to make, because I was going to make a motion to approve, but I'll wait if you have a comment.
Just a really quick one. I was out there at the Naomi Anderson sculptures today, and I just encouraged the Main Street Association with their fund to repair the statues. I don't know if there's been a second coat of white paint on those things yet, but they could use one. It's getting kind of rusty. But otherwise gorgeous, and absolutely appreciate the work of that committee and the Main Street Association and getting that historical legacy out there.
Thank you. Councilman Dabney. Councilman Brisbolinski.
Yeah.
Doesn't have his light on.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Madam Clerk on the vote, please.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer,
Aye.
Mr. Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Aye.
and Ms. Tillman.
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
And this resolution has passed in the honoring and celebrating Naomi Anderson Day on March 1st, annually and in perpetuity. Madam Clerk, our first ordinance on first reading by title only, please.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, approving additional appropriation in the budget of the general fund for the purchase of road salt for the street department. And this is introduced by Mr. Dabney and Dr. Cora.
Okay, and would the sponsors like to make any comments, Councilman Dabney?
Yes, just wanted to, the mayor actually talked about this earlier in regards to us needing salt, road salt, here in Michigan City. And you've seen the harsh winter that we've had. We've used a lot of that salt, so it's time for us to replenish. We could have another snowfall like we had before, it end up running out, and that would be tragic for the residents in Michigan City. So we need to appropriate this money and make sure we refill our salt as best we can.
If the sponsors have nothing further, I will like to open this up for public comment on this ordinance. Are there any public comments on this ordinance? That's okay. Let's hit the department.
Excuse me, good evening, Sean Smith, Michigan City Street Director.
Good evening.
I'm here today hoping that everyone here supports what's on the table today, this resolution for 300,000. We had one of our most treacherous winters. I think it started November 9th, and that's extremely early for any snow event. And after that, it's been a consistent snowfall. We're talking 10 inches, we're talking 2 to 3 inches, something small enough just to mobilize us and keep us on the roadways today. So basically what's going on is a lot of your main salt vendors, your hubs, your Cargills, I think Morton, Compass Minerals wasn't anticipating this increase in salt demand. So what happened was supply and demand, the salt prices started going up. And basically, if you're not entered in a contract, you're almost waiting for salt, and we can't let that happen. So what happens is we have to now go out and find other vendors to get our salt in. And the further we go out looking for salt, the higher the delivery charges are. So just to touch on what the mayor was talking about, a contract, the plan is to enter in a contract with one of the main hubs, or what we have to do is we're going to look into the quantity purchasing agreement. That's the NDOT QPA. And that's basically your municipalities, your state, your county, even local entities, we all enter into a pool in hopes of getting a lower price for salt. So.
Okay. Was there any comments from the council? Councilwoman Moldenauer?
Yeah, Sean, I just want to say thank you so very much for you and your crew's most excellent removal of the snow this summer. I've only heard praise.
Thank you.
And no complaints, which is very unusual. So I know that you've been on the job and have done a great job, and I'm fully in support of you need salt, then we need to support you getting it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. One last thing, the salt we're looking at is two versions. Either we're going to get the sodium chloride, which is the regular white salt, or we're probably looking, I got to talk to Mayor, treated salt. And basically treated salt is regular rock salt coated with like a magnesium. You probably see it on a lot of salt trucks. It's different in color. All that is a dye. So that basically helps us get that freezer point all the way down well below in the negative temperature. So that's the plan we're looking at.
Councilman Nelson?
Just out of curiosity, besides salt, is there any other alternatives that they use on the roads to minimize it icing over?
Yeah, of course we can't use sand because it's hard on the drains. Some I know the county uses it for traction, but there's also a liquid called salt brine. That's basically the same thing. That's salt, sodium water, put down at 23% solidity. And all that does is that creates a protective layer from the pavement, as well as what's trying to cover up the pavement. It stops the bond. So that's the other alternative. It's a liquid phase. I mean, we could put it down when it's dry, but if there's moisture out, you can't do it. It'll dilute it. But that helps us. It helps us with our salt costs, and plus it's easier on the environment because salt brine crystallizes on the pavement. It doesn't, rock salt, we need it, but it's hard on the environment sometimes too. It hits the road and goes off to the edge of the road. So yes. Yeah.
Was there anything else? Well, no. No, I have to. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll now open this up for council comments on this ordinance. Are there any public comments on this ordinance? This ordinance is on first reading.
Yeah, do you have council comments?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor because I am the chairman of the Streets and Alleys Committee, so I feel it's appropriate that I be added as a co-sponsor.
Okay. Are there anyone else that would like to be added to this ordinance at this time? If there are none, this ordinance will be held over for second reading. Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance on first reading by title only, please.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, approving additional appropriation in the budget of the Riverboat Fund for construction of the destination playground in Fetters Alley. And this is introduced by Mr. Prespolinski.
And does the sponsor like to make any comments on this, on their ordinance? Councilman Prespolinski?
Yeah, this here, the Destination Playground is a project that has been 7 years in the making. First introduced it to Mayor Muir, and then worked through Mayor Perry, and now Mayor Angie. And I know we're going to get a presentation this evening, I believe, but I just want to say that we've been through 3 park superintendents going through this project. We have visited Illinois, Mishawaka, Valparaiso, LaPorte. There could be some other cities in there that I have left off the agenda. And also, this project is not only being supported by some local entities, but also our U.S. Congressman Mervan and the U.S. government has given Michigan City $1 million towards this project. So that there gives me confidence that this project has credence behind it and that it's going to be great. I mean, great and exciting for both the city, Northwest Indiana, Southwest Michigan, and the state of Indiana. It's going to be dynamic, and I know Shannon's got more to add to the presentation, so I will let her get on with what she has to say this evening.
Thank you, Shannon Eason, Park Superintendent. Thank you for the introduction, Councilman Prespolinski and Mayor Angie. If the council would allow, I have a 3-minute video that's an immersive video into the project. Many of you have seen it, but a lot of people in the public have not. So this will give you the full scope. I would just like to let you know this will be the first all-inclusive playground and fitness park in our region. Like Councilman Prespolinski said, I've been from Southwest Michigan through the entire Chicagoland suburbs, including Maggie Daly Park, which was impressive, but not all-inclusive. That's where we set the bar and said, you know, what can we do that's better than that? So the video will pretty much give you a total walkthrough. But I would like to stress the reason we're coming to you now, I really want to bid this out in April at the latest of this year because I don't want to jeopardize our $1.5 million in grant funding. We will still actively fundraise. The $600,000 will be the last money that we spend, but I can't bid out a project if I don't have the money in the bank. So that's where we're at today. Thank you. So a couple of features I'd just like to point out. My two favorite things about this whole project are the tower. So it's the only tower I've seen that's wheelchair accessible on a second story. So it gives people the opportunity to have more of the bird's eye view. And then also the dual zip line. So we visited a lot of parks with zip lines, but ours has an adaptive chair. So if you have a child with mobility issues, they can race their sibling or their friend. And then it's multi-generational. That's very important to me too. There's a lot of grandparents that are raising grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So we're trying to incorporate a space where everyone can be together, no matter the age, no matter the ability. So it's an important project. We put a lot of work into it, and I hope you would support it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there any questions for Ms. Eason from the council? There are none. Thank you, Ms. Eason, and for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next, as far as public comments, are there any other public comments on this ordinance?
Yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Stripe. I just hope we're able to maintain this thing. I know we're going to be putting a lot of money in. There's oftentimes the parks really can't even maintain what they got. I'm really happy to see it don't have any water features. We just can't handle water features here. I just hope it has good men and women's toilet areas instead of porta potties with hot and cold running water. So I hope, no, you've really worked hard on this, but I hope it ends. You put security cameras up there. We don't, we've just had to replace a toilet area on the golf course with a porta potty. So, just don't become a hangout place for, people. Thanks.
Thank you. Mhm.
Paul Przybylski, 1716 Washington Street. I agree with points that Tom brought up. And that is a big point, is maintenance on this facility and insurance costs, especially when you talked about a zip line. But I want to talk about something else tonight. I want to talk about taking away the right that I have to take my family to Fetter's Alley only, and only Michigan City residents are allowed there. Fetter's Alley was a set aside from years ago.
If I may just interject, is this pertaining to this?
Yes, it is
ordinance?
pertaining to this. It is pertaining
To this?
to
Okay.
Yes. I want you to know that when I was on the city council before, I asked the superintendent for information about Fetter's Alley when there was a sign up there and a lot of people that have lived here for years know what I'm talking about. It said reserved for Michigan City residents only, and it was enforced. I asked when I was on the city council before for information leading up to when was this taken away from the citizens of Michigan City. There was no evidence of that brought forth. It's still supposed to be reserved for Michigan City residents. There's been no action taken by the park department to take this away from us. So the other day I filed a Freedom of Information Act for more, for these documents again, a formal request. So they still should be there. But what I also would like you to do is that I'm not against this project in general, because I think there's other areas that it could be put in the park and spend the money on re-engineering it, because I think you would have a captive audience in if it was placed centrally and use the money more wisely about rehabbing the wash house that's down in the parking area right now for the zoo and such. So I would hope that we would stand true to the citizens of Michigan City on keeping that for us. The last time I went up there were no Michigan City cars in there during the summer. It was all Illinois cars. All right. Several times when I take a drive through there. So one thing that was forgotten to mention tonight was the $300,000 that was appropriated and from the EDC, and then you had to pass legislation to make it legal. Okay. So
Mr.
also when this was created,
Prisbalinski, I am
Well,
sorry, but
give me,
I'm sorry, sir.
when this was involved,
Mr.
when this was started, it
Point
was
of
all
order.
public money, not
Mr.
public money.
Prisbalinski. This will be the last call for public comment.
Okay, I'm Kathy Stransky, and I want to tell you this. I have been a lifelong resident here. I have been down to that park. I have been down to Fetter's Alley. The number of people that actually use our park, our beach, is usually out of towners. Okay, and in Fetter's Alley, they get to come in there. So there is no place for the people of Michigan City per se, just the people of Michigan City. And I'm really disappointed in what goes on down there. And I mean, I've gone down there and sat and just watched the people, and they're disrespectful to our parks. And I don't understand why we keep trying to amend and make things bigger and better for other people when we should first and foremost be taking care of the people of Michigan City and our own children. Thank you.
Thank you. That will conclude our public comments. Public comments are now closed on this resolution. Comments from the council? Councilman Prisbalinski?
Yeah, Madam President, and just a couple items. The park, I'm not even going to call it a park. I'm going to call the equipment that's down in the Fetter's Alley. That equipment's over 70 years old. Do I call it safe? Yeah, it's probably safe. Is it OSHA regulations or ADA or anything like that? No. So it's time for that to go. This particular park, and I don't know why there would be a push against it, because everyone in Michigan City can use that park. Anyone can come in there and use that park. It's going to be the nicest park that people have ever seen in Michigan City. I know there may be a lot of funding here, but I guess sometimes the philosophy is if you want something nice, you have to expend for it and you have to pay for it. And this is going to take care of, people of all ages with disabilities will be able to use this. special needs, and things of that nature. To me, it's a very exciting project. It's a project that will be nowhere like this in Northwest Indiana or Southwest Michigan. And the other thing that it offers right now, if you're at the senior center and you're a senior, you know, if you want to go for a walk, you got to walk up and down the parking lots, mainly up and down Fetters Alley parking lot. But this is also going to provide a walking trail throughout the Fetters Alley area, and no trees are going to be cut down to make way for the paths. Everything's going to go around the trees, and you're also going to have workout equipment there for people that want to use that. So it's going to be for all ages, all abilities, and to come out and go for a walk on the trail and have nice amenities there. So I fully support this. I supported it from day one, and I will support it all the way to the last vote that we get on this. And that's all I have to say, Madam President.
Councilman Dabney?
Well, as I tend to do, I want to approach this from an economic lens. And I'm going to have to talk with a couple of people and find out. I don't remember a sign saying that something was just for Michigan. I just don't remember it, but I'm sure they have that information. If we make our park only for Michigan City residents, we will be chopping off tons and tons of parking revenue from the people that come outside of Michigan City, outside of LaPorte County, that come over from Illinois, as we said, the Illinois plates. And so what I would see happening to make up for that is that free sticker, that free parking that you get would probably be gone. Who knows what we would have to charge in order to make those type of dollars lost up. But it's just weird for me to sit here and think that we can stop other people from other areas or whatever from coming. It sounds almost just borderline discriminatory, that at some point, if we can do that, then we can move further and start that slippery slope of moving into, let's say, not allowing Mexicans, not allowing blacks. It just seems like it's going way out of bounds. So it is a public park that I believe anybody in the public, that's why, travels in from California to see family here, they should be able to go to the park and use it. So it's a little strange to me, that we would be, trying to keep other people out of our public park. That helps with, parking revenue and things of that sort. So like I said, I just wanted to attack this from an economic lens and bring that on. I'm sure I have much more to say in my second reading about this as well.
Thank you. Dr. Koroff?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. The video was very good. It's very family friendly, and I really think this will promote physical and mental health. It's good for people to get out, be active, be with families, with friends, and I think it'll be a good thing for our community.
Are there any other comments from the council? Councilwoman Moldenauer?
Thank you, Madam President. Having retired from the Michigan City area schools as a teacher, and then also having served on the Michigan City Human Rights Commission for several years, and my last couple of years as chair, I realize and value the importance of inclusion, that through this project, we're able to create a space that serves absolutely every single resident in Michigan City. And I think if we can do that, it's something we can be very proud of and something that we should do. So I'm totally 100% in favor of this. I have been since I first heard about it, and I would like to ask to be added as a co-sponsor on this, please.
And Madam Clerk, did you get that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Were there any other comments on this resolution? On this ordinance? Councilman Beatrice?
I'm one of those grandparents that takes a grandchild to parks, and She's been to every park in Michigan, well, almost every park in Michigan City. And I think this would be a great addition. I like the idea that it's going to be made accessible and enjoyable for not only someone who's 3 years old, but for someone who's older than 3 years old. So I'd like to be added as a sponsor as well.
Councilwoman Lee?
Thank you, Madam President. Shannon, I do have one question. So you mentioned that this is accessible for adults too, and, you know, for parents and grandparents to take their children. So the weight limit on the zip line and the swings is adult accessible too, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And then I also like to point out, the rostrum facility has adult changing areas. So we do have some, clients that are served locally that do need to be changed. And we were using our restroom a lot too, like No Dignity, you know, taking a cot in there. So yes, we've thought about all of that. So it is for adults. It's for every age group. And I think we pretty much thought of everything. But yes, the weight limits were definitely upped because I want to plan everything. Thank you for asking.
Thanks.
Okay, if there are no other comments from the council, this ordinance will be held over for second reading. Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance on first reading by title only.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, approving additional appropriation in the budget of the Riverboat Fund for the purchase of radios for the police department and fire department. And this is introduced by Ms. Lee and Dr. Cora.
And do the sponsors like to make any comment?
Yes, thank you,
Councilwoman
Madam.
Lee?
Thank you, Madam President. So this is a transfer to purchase new radios for the fire and police department, like Mayor Angie said. So from my understanding of it, Chief Barrett can come up and explain a little more. But from my understanding, the radios that we currently have it's old technology. They stopped making those models. And so if those radios go out, there are no new parts for us to fix them. So we have to replace them. We have no choice.
Yeah, actually, Assistant Chief Shaparsky, Police Chief Shaparsky, kind of set up the deal. He kind of brokered the whole agreement. But yes, the reason why we need to replace these radios now is because of the technology has moved forward so much that these radios are sold. What has happened now, starting this year, they've quit making parts for these radios. Radios will still work. We can still use them for training or anything like that. But if we need to fix them, once we can't find parts, the radios are useless. So at this point, I feel it's best just go ahead and replace the radios. That way, if they do, anything happens, we can replace them or get parts for them. Because again, radios we have now, once the parts are gone, they're gone. You're never going to find them. So that's essentially what it boils down to. And Assistant Chief Shaparsky was able to work out a good deal with Motorola, saving quite a bit of money. But there's a time frame we got to work within. Chief Forker could probably get a little more deeper into that with a little more detail.
Again, Steve Forker, Chief of Police. As Chief Taylor alluded to, right, this is, wasn't on our 26 menu, right, for a capital purchase. Working with Motorola to secure pricing, it was made apparent to us that we were going to maybe miss the opportunity to receive some significant trade-in value and or a technology discount in the amount of, I believe it was $170,000. So again, that's why, right, we moved forward, I would say, exponentially with this project, just to see that trade-in value and receive that tech credit essentially with that. And again, that value was at 170. And then again, obviously, right, that just expedited this project for us into 2026 and or essentially March of 26. So.
Chief, I just wanted to ask you, how old are these radios, the ones that you have, right?
I believe they're 11 years old. Again, when we went to the 800 megahertz radios, I believe it was 2015, I believe 2016, right around in that time. And that was a countywide project that essentially received grant monies through EMA And that was a project that was done countywide to include all police and fire, even volunteer firefighters at the time. So that essentially replaced every radio in the county. Again, going with Motorola, they really are the standard in this industry. They have good quality equipment. And again, we would at least see at least another 10-year lifespan out of these current radios. And again, we did not indicate, but this is for our portable radios. So these are the ones that we carry on person. The in-car radios that we currently have is not the same, right? We are not losing the parts and whatnot on those. So it's just currently the portable radios in which we carry on our persons.
And Chief, this went a little bit out of order, correct? So this had to be approved by the Board of Works. However, the deal that was made with the $170,000 discount had to be done by March. But by the time we get this through both readings, that would put us into April for you to go to the April Board of Works.
Ultimately, yeah, correct. We did go to Board of Works already and seek their approval pending, right? The approval on the ordinance and or funding, right, from the council. There is essentially an escape clause in that contract, right? If funding is not provided, then we're not held to that contract with Motorola. So yeah, we did go essentially out of order with that. But again, because there's a time frame in that, again, we will be at the next council meeting and politely request for second and third reading within that, so we can meet the deadline to still receive that discount and or trade-in value that we can get.
Right.
So thank you.
Thanks. So to be clear, the Board of Works approved it pending approval from the council. So it's not automatically approved by them. It's pending approval from us.
Correct.
I would make that clear.
Yep.
Thanks.
I'll open this up for
Yeah.
public
I got a question.
public comments, then it comes back to
Right.
council. I'm opening this up for public comments. Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Are there any public comments on this ordinance? This will be last call for public comments on this ordinance. There are none. Public comments are now closed. Comments from the council, Councilman Nelson.
You stated Motorola is the standard. So does that mean that y'all didn't explore any other options or any other leasing agreements with any other company?
We did explore, right, using essentially Kenwood, right, is I don't even want to say comparative model, but is a supplemental model. Again, the rigidity on that model and or right the functionality on that does not match currently what we have and does not match the newer model from Motorola, which offers Wi-Fi, LTE, and upgraded programming abilities, right, and stuff like that we can handle in-house. So again, it's that's the only other model available, or I would say any other brand available. But again, it does not essentially meet the standards in which we currently have. And again, they're, I would say, lacking as far as the advanced technology features that the Motorola offers.
Far as the price tag, is that based off how many years the lease is?
It's a 3-year lease, right? The total 1.1 is for the total replacement for police and fire radios. Is it 95?
It's going to be explained.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. So 90 radios for police and then 55 for fire department. So that is to cover, right? The 1.1 essentially would cover the complete lease term.
Okay. What's included with the lease? Is that replacement? Is that warranties? What's the purpose of getting a release if we're buying all the equipment?
Yeah. Chief, you want to explain the lease route? Again, Chief Saparski can explain some of that stuff in detail, why we want to go the lease route.
My name is Kyle Shaparsky. I'm the Assistant Chief of Operations at Michigan City. This is the first time I've been having the pleasure to speak to you all. Chief Forker decided to let me out of the office. I'm a little new, so I'm here tonight. More than welcome to answer all these questions regarding this. I do want to touch on one thing Councilman Nelson, that you asked Chief Forker about these specific radios. Back when Motorola came and essentially outfitted the whole county, the backbone of our 800 megahertz system was built by Motorola. So there's compatibility things to note in that conversation as well when it comes to what we need now, and why we went that route. The Kenwoods that we explored, that we demoed, they ultimately lack some very needed technologies that we need from a police and fire. And I'll give you one really good example. Right now, when a police officer or a firefighter walks into a school, i.e. Michigan City High School, we don't have, our radios stop working. We cannot communicate with dispatch. We cannot communicate with other law enforcement or other individuals outside of that. The school has an internal radio system that's a different frequency, a completely different system. Chief Forker mentioned that these radios that we are looking to have Wi-Fi and LTE inside of them. So what we have set up is an ability that now when these radios enter a school, it will connect to a secure network that will allow us that communication in and out. Additionally, what we've ran into, and as with any technology, it sometimes does not function or it goes through updates. And so what we have is inside the LTE side of things is that if a tower goes down or some kind of catastrophic event occurs within Michigan City, our radios will then switch over immediately to an LTE network and communicate. These are technologies that are brand new to really the industry and what Motorola has built on the backbone of their new devices. Kenwood does not have an answer to that, which is ultimately why we returned to Motorola, because there's an existing relationship there, which is why we are able to secure such favorable lease terms. The 1.1 million is for the lease, the lease terms of 3 years. Working with that existing relationship with Motorola, the interest rate initially on that lease was almost 6%. They and we worked together to get that lease term, that rate down to 2.9% interest over 3 years, which is essentially allowing us to stretch out this funding so that it's a little bit easier to bite. There is also 1.1 million for the radios, but then there is an additional warranty, which is a 7-year warranty for all of these radios, which is, again, something that no other vendor is offering. If these things go down in the field and they are not functional anymore, for 7 years, we will have the ability to get these things serviced at minimal to no cost for us. So these are some of those factors, I think, that led us to the junction we are in now. And there's a lot of legislative things that have been happening, as you all know, and this is what dictated this kind of up and down roller coaster of pricing. When we looked at these radios earlier last year, they were exponentially more expensive, right? They were close to $10,000 a radio. The things that are happening downstate in Indiana, along with initial promotions that Motorola has been offering over the last few months, we have gotten that down to now what is right around $6,600 a radio. It sounds like a lot, but the best analogy, and when I was talking to the Board of Works about this, is for police and fire, our portable radios are our lifeline. We are in our cars, we can talk with a little bit more ease there, but when we are out in the field and in the streets and, doing our daily business, those portable radios are for everything for us, which is why this highlights it's such an important piece of equipment, but also supports why it's so expensive. So again, that's a long-winded answer to the lease terms, but we wanted to provide some additional context.
I just got one more question. At what point did y'all determine that y'all need these radios, with us being at such a tight deadline, having to turn this in by March 18th?
So the promotion for the trade-ins, right? And there is a current trade-in where if we take our existing radio, right, it's like this one right here, we can, every one of these we trade in, we will get $700 back and a credit from Motorola. And by March, it's like the day of the second council meeting, actually, that is going away. They are not going to be offering us or anybody those terms or that level of promotion. And so that is why we're at this juncture now where we would like to take full advantage of that to maximize the savings. And you heard Chief Forker again, because of the relationship that we have existing with Motorola, we were able to also secure that additional technology credit, as they call it, for roughly $27,000, which is going to be used to buy the holsters for the radios. The fire department needs specific charging for inside the fire trucks and things of that nature. And so really we're incorporating, a substantial amount of savings and taking advantage of that promotion that while we can.
Madam President.
Councilman Dabney, and then I have to go.
Yeah, I turned my light on because I initially wanted to find out who came up with this deal and worked this deal, and you stepped right in front of us here. Congratulations for doing that. That was some serious due diligence on your part in order to get the securities prices. So I'm happy that you guys stepped up and did that. This is very beneficial to the city. And we were talking about the cost of the $1.1 million, and somebody could say, well, why don't you do it year after year, that type of thing. But in order to secure those prices, we had to come up with the full amount of the contract. And that's why we're doing the whole $1.1 million now. Going to put that in a purchase order, which over time will pay the payments out over 3 years. I really want to congratulate you for really digging into this and getting that deal. And I know you had to get this done before the turn of the month in order to secure this deal. So congratulations on that. You saved us quite a bit of money. And that goes to explain, why we're doing the whole $1.1 million now, putting in a purchase order. It is as payments come up, that money is encumbered off to the side. We won't spend it. It'll be locked up to be used for these radios. So once again, thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Dr. Cora?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I wanted a clarification. Are we buying these or are we leasing this?
It's we're purchasing them. They refer to it as a lease to own. Yeah. So in the end, after 3 years, we will own these radios. And again, the lifespan on these, the current ones, right? They're 11 years old. That it will be at least that. And because of the model we have, if the radio technology does change, those radios are ready for that as well.
Thank you.
Councilman Beardsley.
I first became aware of issues with radios before 10 years ago, when there were huge things going on in schools, kids getting shot and command centers being established. And back then there was an issue with police couldn't communicate to fire couldn't communicate to state police, EMS couldn't talk to anyone. And then I think that was 10 years ago or more, where everyone had to go on the same frequency. So is everybody would this put everyone on the same frequency still? And would fire and state police and EMS, if they enter a school, still be able to talk to people using that network?
So and this is a very good point, sir. And it's a benefit that we got when this system was initially built, and Chief Forker talked about that. The county purchased all the radios. They set up the whole system 11 years ago, right? And when I say system, I'm saying frequencies, right? The police frequencies, the fire frequencies. That was a true benefit to the entire county, because at that point it put everybody on the same frequencies with or access to those frequencies. We are not changing that at all. We are going to be receiving these new radios that will be programmed with the same frequencies, because luckily, those don't get outdated, those don't go bad, things of that nature. And so we'll be plugging our radios into the same network. And as the county's going to be forced with this decision in the near future as well to purchase new radios, and other municipalities within the county in addition. Everybody will still be operating off that same Motorola frequency backbone that was built 10 years ago. We're just going to have more capable pieces of equipment to help facilitate the technologies that are coming down the pipeline from these communications.
State police as well?
Yes. Yeah.
And if the FBI shows up, feds too?
Well, yes, we will be able to communicate with the federal government. Yes, that's probably more a relationship than.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yes, we can't. That sounds good.
Were there any other comments from the council? If there are none, then this ordinance will be held over for second reading. Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance on first reading by title. Madam Clerk, our next ordinance on first reading by title only, please.
An ordinance on first reading by title only, approving additional appropriation in the budget of the Road Fund for the purchase of vehicles, including the buyout of leased vehicles for the Michigan City Police Department. And this is introduced by Ms. Lee and Dr. Cora.
And does the sponsor like to make any comments, Dr. Cora?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I think a decision was made looking at the finances that purchasing vehicles is financially beneficial compared to leasing vehicles. So that's the reason why some of these vehicles are being purchased, the new ones, and some of the leased vehicles, there is a buyout for those. And that's the reason why this money is being requested for appropriation to buy these vehicles.
Good evening again, Assistant Chief Shaparsky. I'm going to count this as the second time I get to talk to you guys, just for the record. As described, right now we are on the final kind of phase of buying out lease vehicles that we took on a few years back. The benefit, obviously, of those leases were that we've got access to new cars for a substantially lower price. But what we didn't what we're now trying to work past here is that when that lease is up, we have to either buy it out or strip it down and put it and give it and return that vehicle. Luckily, most of these cars have been really great for us. So we can, now have a lower purchase price to get, for example, 11 cars we will be able to lease that are currently on lease that we'll be able to buy out. And that's in that sum of about $233,000. The bigger thing in this is we as a department have to get into a regular rotation of the vehicles we're using. You have officers that drive, 100 miles a night. We are not a huge city, but we geographically cover a considerable amount of space. And when you think of how many officers are on the road on every night, the wear and tear on our vehicles continue. And, you're really the lifespan of any one of our vehicles is anywhere from 6 to 8 years, because by that point there's, 200,000 miles therein. So what this appropriation would allow us to do is to pay off the last lease batch, if you will, of 11 vehicles, and then would get us started on returning and getting to a regular rotation so that we can properly budget going forward. So in this situation, we're requesting to purchase 4 additional vehicles. These are vehicles that I was able to go out and find sitting on a lot brand new, but a year old. So we were able to get some good special price governance pricing on those existing year-old fleets. And then also, I know Chief Forker has spent some time talking to Board of Works and to the council about some of the measures that we're trying to make in-house to save some money. And this would be another example of that. 3 of these cars are going to be outfitted for patrol, which requires a substantial job to outfit an entire vehicle. One of these vehicles is going to be an administrative outfit, which is a smaller job, and we have some officers within our department that are capable and come with backgrounds in electrical and outfitting vehicles, and so we'll be handling some of this in-house as we have in this past year. So essentially, the appropriation of the $500,000 is going to allow us again to buy out the leases, to buy 4 new cars, get those outfitted and on the road, so that in the next following year, 2027, we can come to you guys with this is what our rotation needs to look like, and this is what we can expect to spend year over year going forward.
I'd like to open this up for public comment on this ordinance. Are there any public comments on this ordinance? Any public comments on this ordinance? If there are none, public comments are now closed. Comments by the council? Councilman Nelson.
Is this an early buyout or is this at the end of the lease and y'all buying them out?
This buyout will end in November of this year. So
This is an early buyout?
no, we're not going to buy those vehicles out until
No.
November. Yeah, when it's due.
Are there any other comments from the council? Are there any other comments from the council? If there are none, this ordinance will be held over for a second reading. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, on our next ordinance on second reading by title only, please.
An ordinance on second reading by title only. Ordinance authorizing the city of Michigan City, Indiana to fund taxable economic development revenue note, series 2026, and approving authorizing other actions in respect thereto. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman, Dr. Cora, and Mr. Prespolinski.
Okay, thank you. I would just like to add, this is in regards to constructing and certain economic development for the facilities consisting of the construction of a new public roadway and utilities to serve the Tailwinds Business Park. And we do have here Mr. York, if you would, please. Well, before I even say that, unless the other sponsors would like to make any comments at this time. There are not, if you would, Mr.
Good afternoon, Council. Skylar York, Director of Redevelopment. It's good to see you guys again. Thank you for entertaining this on second reading. Just to give you a little background, I think I gave you a lot of information last time, but just to recap, this is the area that is directly south of the AMC Theater, and it is the roads that we're talking about are the roads that are kind of dead ends in those areas. It's approximately about 30 acres of land. It's about 12 new. It will go through subdivision. It will go through. So I guess I was back up. This is the beginning. We're at this kind of the beginning stage right now. It will go through all of its entitlements, meaning subdivision, zoning code review, all those things, development plan review, site plan review. It still has a ways to go to get to the end. There will be a new road built in there, and that is the piece that the Redevelopment Commission will be participating in, is the construction of that road. Typical road cost for something like this, 4 to 5 million, 6 million, somewhere like that. We haven't went through full development yet or full subdivision, so once we go through that and Matt finds out a little bit more about what exactly is going to be required of that. But as of right now, he has talked to the city engineer. This will be a full-fledged city road. It will have sidewalks. It will have a place for a bus shelter to go. It'll have your curb and gutter, storm, all the utilities underneath it. All those things will be there. So it's about 30 acres of land, 12 new lots, 11 new building lots. One of them will probably have to have a detention pond on it for all the stormwater. We still, like I said, we still have to go through sanitation to figure out what drainage is going to be like and things of that nature. But I assume one of them's going to be probably given up for a pond of some sort for on-site detention, retention. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So the way it works is we will be doing we are pledging a $2 million loan through the Redevelopment Commission to the developer. Basically, this loan will be used to pay for the road. The developer will build road. We'll be inspecting it. There will be 3 different payouts. First, upon starting the road, we will be providing about $800,000 for that to get started. Second will be another $800,000 once Tim Warner goes out and there are certain things that he has to test the road. There's a test roll for the road. There's certain inspections that have to be done about midway through that road. And then the third payout will come in the form of a $400,000 payout, which will be kind of the finalization of that road. To finalize a road, basically it has to go to the Board of Works for what's called dedication of that road, which means that Tim Warner has to go out, city engineer Warner, should he still be the city engineer, he would go out, inspect said road, there would be coring. Obviously, he'll be monitoring it throughout the whole build. He will make sure it's built to the spec and everything is there, sidewalks, curbs, gutters, everything that we need in the right of way. and he will come to the Board of Public Works and ask for the dedication of that road, which would then give this developer secondary plat or final plat, and he'll be able to sell lots on the road and get all his PIN numbers. That's basically the process that we would work through to the end. It sounds that's a year and a half process probably, so to get it all done. Any questions, or would you like for me to have the developer kind of give you some information or ask him questions?
I would like to open it up for public comment, and then at that point, are there any public comments on this ordinance at this time?
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic. I just request that we come up with a creative name to name the road. Maybe like Pugh Road after our longtime city planner, John Pugh, somebody or a prominent businessman. It's a name like Tailwind Drive or Mayor Drive or whatever. Name it after, somebody, historical figure from the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on this ordinance? Are there any other public comments on this ordinance? Any public comments on this ordinance? If there are none, public comments are now closed. Comments from the council. Councilman Preselinski.
Yeah, Skylar, are there street lights that are going to be installed on this project also?
Absolutely. We would need those to be installed. Tim Warner, city engineer, sorry, I shouldn't call him by his name. City engineer will basically make sure that all those are met. There are certain guidelines that our intersections have to meet lighting standards, definitely the intersections. And then there will be, if there's sidewalks, I assume we would probably put pedestrian lighting, but that's for Mr. Warner to kind of look at with respect to like what that cross section of road, how it's designed.
Okay.
But the answer is yes, we would have to have those through there.
Thank you.
Councilman Nelson.
I didn't catch your name.
Matt Rossman with ICS XLRP.
Okay, once it is, given permission to move forward with this, what type of businesses or developments are y'all looking to attract in that area?
We're not sure on the business type yet, but it will be a business park in nature. We're going to have 10 to 12,000 square foot buildings there. We kind of envision either like a light office, people that are in the trade. So an HVC contractor, for example, that might have a warehouse area in back to store their product, have the vans pull up in the morning in an office area for estimators and office. Building trades and typical are what we're thinking will be a good fit in that park.
Keep in mind, the zoning code is still in place here. We still have a B2 zoning, so we're not asking for changing of use or changing of zoning or variance from use or anything like that. So M1, M2 uses, industrial, those are in a M1, M2 use. We're actually in a B2 use, so we still have to stay in that category of uses for zoning.
He was first.
Councilman, Dr. Cora.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to again reiterate that the road that is being built will be owned by the city.
Yes, that's 100% true. I don't think Matt wants to commit to plowing a private road, so he would love for us to take ownership of it. But honestly, that's really the goal, is for us to own that. So once it's dedicated, it goes into the PACER rating, and we actually start getting refunding of money from the MVH Motor Vehicle Fund. You will see addition. Be it small, you'll see additions in there. But the goal is to actually connect those roads where they're kind of missing back there and create a path between Cleveland and 421, which hopefully will alleviate some pressure on 421, and hopefully people will start using Cleveland more. I think since we fixed Cleveland, it took the 75 thumps out of it, that people are using it more now. And I also believe that with this project, you're going to see more development along Cleveland, which I think has been overall the goal when Cleveland was built originally.
Councilman Dabney.
I just wanted to see if anybody else had any other comments before I was going to ask to, go ahead.
We're probably looking down. I think we're thinking the same thing.
Think so?
You want to go to third, and I do, but I want to say something first.
Go ahead.
I thought at our first reading, I asked to be on as a sponsor to this, but evidently it got missed somehow. But it's not important that I be added as a sponsor now, because I'm going to ask that we go to third reading. But before we do that, I said at our other meeting, this is an exciting development to me because I live along Cleveland Ave, and I've looked at that stretch many, many times thinking, when are we ever going to get somebody in here? We actually have a cut in there now, where the curb is cut for an entrance. Is that where it's going to go in?
We'll have to look and see. I know they kind of planned that out. You are correct. There are a few curb cuts through there that were kind of pre-planned. I think they were pre-planned without knowing exactly what was going to go there. What we'll do is we'll have Matt, when he lays out primary plat, Mr. Warner will go out there, and if we have regulations on how far away curb cuts can be from other curb cuts. Obviously, if his road doesn't lay out exactly where the curb cut is, and there's one right next to it, say 10 foot away, we'll get rid of that because it won't be able to be used, and we need to basically put back the curb there and bring it back up to grade to make sure that people don't mistake it or try to use it in the future, so that we can control where curb cuts go along Cleveland, because we don't want to start allowing too many, just because it'll become another congested area with too many curb cuts. So we'll try to control it, but hopefully it will. That's hopefully, but I'll probably have to rely on Mr. Rossman's primary plat to kind of review that and see how it lays out. The other thing we don't want to do is we don't want to curve a road purposefully to hit a curb cut, because it's probably better just to stay straight. Does that make sense for his use of land?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. One other quick question. I know in the drawing that we saw at our first reading, Larkspur kind of takes a curve to the north and it dead ends. Is that supposed to connect with Tim?
So what I did was I went back and I pulled all the files from, I believe, 1993 when that was first originally thought about. Yes, at the time there was a lot of discussion in the Plan Commission. I read through the minutes, and the minutes are clear. They wanted things to connect back in there. I just don't know where it kind of fell apart on that. That isn't collected in the minutes. But there was a lot of mention about the importance of connecting those roads and getting to Cleveland. And Larkspur was one of them, and then Tim was one of them. It even talks about when they bought the Redevelopment Commission bought the piece of Tim so that they could continue Myers Drive around and connect through there. So ultimately, I think the goal was to connect all that. I just don't know the history of why it wasn't done, but we do know that there's a curb right there. Mr. Rossman has accounted for that. We will work through him with the Redevelopment Commission and with our new attorney Rags to make sure that we get the right of way through there and things of that nature to make hopefully the connection happen.
That sounds great. And I'm excited about the B2 designation as well. I think it's going to put the perfect kind of business in that area that it's made for. And with that, I'd like to recommend that we go to third reading this evening.
Support.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Coulter,
Aye.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora, Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Moldenar,
Aye.
Mr. Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
and Mr. Beard.
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would, this ordinance on third reading by title only.
An ordinance on third reading by title only, ordinance authorizing the city of Michigan City, Indiana funds its taxable economic development revenue note, series 2026, and approving and authorizing other actions in respect thereto. And this is introduced by Ms. Tillman, Dr. Cora, Mr. Prespolinski. Want to be added?
If we do that, we're all going to have to come back and sign again tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm fine with not putting on those ones. Make it easy for you.
Okay.
Thank you. Do the sponsors like to make any comments on this? If there are no comments from the sponsor, I'll open this up for public comment on third reading. Public comments on this ordinance on third reading. Are there any public comments on this ordinance on third reading? If there are no public comments on this ordinance on third reading, public comments are now closed. Any comments from the council?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Mr. Dabney,
Aye.
Dr. Cora,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer,
Aye.
Mr. Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice,
Aye.
and Mr. Coulter.
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
Thank you. And this ordinance has passed.
I really thank you, commit our council, and this is a really good project and a way to make a road happen for fractions of the price of what it normally would cost. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, do we have any new business?
There is no new business this evening.
Madam Clerk, any unfinished business?
Nominations, the council has one appointment to the Community Enrichment Corporation, incumbent Jason Kirby. Term expires March 31st, 2026. The applicants we received was Jason Kirby, Cheryl Krasinski, Violet Worth, Lisa Jackson, Danny Armstrong, and Kevin Niesel.
I would like to open up nominations at this time.
Madam President, I'd like to nominate Jason Kirby.
Okay. Are there any other nominations?
Yes.
Councilman Dabney.
I'd like to nominate Violet Worth.
Are there any other nominations at this time? If there are none, nominations are now closed. The applicants for nominations for our next council is going to be for Jason Kirby and Violet Worth. Madam Clerk, our FYI, please.
The council has one appointment to the Michigan City Social Status of African American Males Commission representing the following and will expire February 15th, 2026. And it's an appointment by the Michigan City Area Schools, Dwayne Hurt, and it's a 2-year term.
Okay. Next, we will have our vote. The council has one appointment to the Michigan City Tree Board representing a neighborhood association, incumbent Laura Henderson, Elston Grove. Term expires February 15th, 2026, 1-year term. And that is, is that the only applicant that we have for that?
We did receive the letter from the Eastport Neighborhood Association, having Wendy Willis be the representation for 2026.
Okay, and that is the only one that we have and that is listed.
Yeah.
So due to that, this is the only applicant that we have. Is there an acceptance of nomination for Mrs. Wendy Willis? Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, on the vote, please.
Dr. Cora?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Moldenauer?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Prespolinski?
Aye.
Ms. Tillman?
Aye.
Mr. Beatrice?
Aye.
Mr. Coulter?
Aye.
And Mr. Dabney?
Aye.
We have 9 in favor and no one opposed.
Okay, and congratulations to you, Miss Wendy Willis. And next we have comments from the public. Public comments are now open. I ask that you please come up and state your name and your address, and your time is 3 minutes. Thank you.
Ernie Hollahan, 302 Gladys Street. I have asked my council lady a question tonight, and I was turned down because I'm not supposed to speak to you up there, evidently, before the meeting. But my question is very important. I've tried to call her twice, got no answer. I left a message, left my phone number, not your cell phone. The only number I have for the councils is a regular number. I don't have cell phone numbers other than one council person. So it must have been your home number. Well, whatever number it was, I called twice and left you a message. It's in regard to the data center. I just got information from one question tonight. At least one council person would talk to me.
Royal Road does not belong to them in regard to what they're saying. They have a fence. 2 fences. One is on the regular boundary where it should be. The other one is right on the road. Why are they allowed to put another fence up along the road when it's against ordinance or whatever? If I put a fence up along my road, they would make me take it down. And they should make them take that fence down. I've called the mayor's office. I left a message to her secretary. I've got no response back from her on that. I did call another council person twice, got no answers. But that council person is very good about returning my calls and answering my questions. So that is your job, is to answer your people's questions in your ward. That data center is in your ward, 6th ward. I'm in your ward, 6th ward. I don't appreciate the treatment you give me. Twice I have tried to talk to you and you walked out on me. I don't appreciate that. I'm in your ward. You need to answer my questions when I ask them. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. There's something.
I'm sorry. Hi, Amy Lisinski. I live at 104 Mayfield Drive in Michigan City. I just want to say that I find it completely unacceptable the way Michigan City has handled 2 of my FOIA requests. My first one was submitted to the city and received
Madam President.
September 10th.
Excuse me,
Yeah,
ma'am, we can't hear you.
yeah, can you
You can
either
get
bring
into
the
the
microphone
microphone.
up closer to you, please? Thank you.
Better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to start over?
Yes, if you would, because we couldn't hear, it was.
Thank you. I just want to say that I find it completely unacceptable the way Michigan City has handled 2 of my FOIA requests. My first one was submitted to the city and received on September 10th, 2025. I had to file a formal complaint with the state before receiving a final reply to this request on Friday, February 27th, 2026. Let's do some math. That was nearly 5 months or 170 days. To be clear, the state says that these should be answered in a reasonable amount of time. They go on to share an example from the state at a state level FOIA request of it taking up to 5 or 6 weeks. This leads me to believe a FOIA request in a small city within Indiana should be answered within 6 weeks, but I would even presume it should be answered faster than a state level request. Furthermore, the city is sitting on another FOIA request of mine, submitted on December 30th, 2025. It is now March 3rd, 2026, and I have received no reply except for the city receiving my FOIA request. We are now 63 days and counting, and 9 weeks have passed since that submission. Do I have to file another claim with the state to receive a reply? These timelines are 100% unacceptable. Information requested for the first one was time sensitive based on other timelines by the city. Was it just to stall out other processes that I was hoping to try to work through? I would also like to state that the reply to my FOIA 100% left me with more questions than answered. I requested something based on the statement that the city conducted research. I asked for the research. The reply to my FOIA was no such research exists. Who is lying within the city because someone is not telling the truth? This seems negligent on the city's part to state research was conducted if none was done. This should be having you guys asking questions and demanding answers. Also, if no such research existed and that was my reply, why was it 170 days to get that response? Completely unacceptable.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments at this time?
Oh, yes, Tommy Kalabic, 1316 Ohio Street. No, Marty Carly, he's going to take Pastor Hurt's seat on the Social Status Commission. He's going to come back, mention that school board meeting. Of course, school board meeting. We want to congratulate our new head football coach at Michigan City High School, Charles Salary. I said, if he's going to coach the team anywhere they're in the level he played, I said, we're going to be fantastic. Better put all the Duneland Conference and 5A teams in Indiana on notice. Congratulate Coach Upshaw and the boys basketball team. A couple weeks ago, they were named the IHSA boys basketball team of the week. They got a big win over 21st Century and went over Lake Central and their 3,300 students. Last game when they beat Maryville. Always nice to beat the Bucks. They had a nice win over the Lalamere JV team on Heritage Night Saturday. And on March 19th is going to be the 6th-year anniversary of the 1966 state championships. I know they got that real cool picture on the wall. Every time I walk by there, man, it should be fun to that again. And so, I know you're on the redevelopment commission. I want to make a request to take all the banners and the fencing down next door to there's not going to be no standalone Marriott hotel. Nobody's going to be moving their families into the Marriott hotel and sending their students off to the Michigan City area schools. They need to put out a new RFP. You're really not supposed to have any obsolete signs or businesses that are closed. That's all time ago. You can open that for parking, for events and whatever. The fire department uses that, and the EMS does for fireworks night. But vector control, easier to get them to mow than to mow it. I just would say, we don't want they've had other hotels like that in other areas. They used to have the old Sheridan Hotel at 5th and Broadway over in Gary. That was a disaster. The old Star Plaza Radisson and on 65 and 30. That's gone. We had the old Spalding Hotel. We don't want to. That's just not going to work. We need a development like they put over in Portage, like the Founders Square at Central Avenue and Hamstrom Road in Portage. Really nice development. Nice, reasonable. The $650,000 condominiums isn't feasible for Michigan City. So that's just all I'd like to say. And there's some more issues for the redevelopment commission I want to bring up when you have your meeting. Just want to pass that along. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Przyblinski, 1716 Washington Street. I want to make a point why I brought up the issue about Fetter's Alley. I would wish that the park department would make the vote and make it formal and take it away from us. And also, I would like to say, I'm not thankful that none of you members used any of our fiscal mechanisms to keep from having a water rate increase by using the TIF district to create, help pay for their pump station. No, thank you on that one. Now, one thing that I will never tolerate anybody or even suggest that I am trying to create racism. And I think that the comments that were made earlier were divisive for our community and were inappropriate. I've represented people my whole life, and I was brought up living on Homer and Wabash, and on Charles Street, we had a black family, and I was their paper boy. And we were always, I just think it was an embarrassing moment, and I think that Mr. Dabney needs to apologize to the community. He did that to me and my brother Donald when we were talking about the quiet zone. He said that we were suggested that we were racist, and I stood up. I'm not going to tolerate that. That is inappropriate.
Thank you.
Good evening. Jason Kirby, 1600 Columbia. First of all, I'd like to thank the city clerk's office for tolerating me for the past few months of all my questions, emails, and phone calls. And second of all, I'd like to thank the council for even just hearing me and nominating me for a chance to be voted back into the community enrichment corporation. I've enjoyed my first term on there. It's been really nice, and I really am looking forward to hopefully getting a second one. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comment? Do we have anyone online for public comments? If there are no other public comments are now closed. Comments from the council, Councilman Dabney.
Yes. I would like to respond, yet not respond to me saying something that was calling anyone a racist. I was making an example. If you want to keep certain people out of a public park, like anybody that doesn't live in Michigan City. So I use the example. So you don't want to, I mean, you can then that slippery slope could move to where somebody could make a suggestion about not having Mexicans in the park. I did have that in my first term on the on the council here when I met with a group, and the guy said he cannot use Washington Park because of all the Mexicans. So I have heard this before, but it feels a little bit discriminatory to me just to talk about people that, you know, you want to block people from coming out of town to a public park. That's just insane to me. Maybe I was raised a little bit different. And so then come on back in. And then we were talking about in the past, what happened where they were quiet zones for the South Shore train, and the quiet zone stopped at Michigan Boulevard. So the rest of the route that went through the first ward down to Carroll Avenue, we were looking to pass some dollars in order to make that a quiet zone the rest of the way. And I made the comment that the African American community over in Eastport can't have quiet zones. So I don't know how that was translated into me calling somebody a racist. I would not do that here from the council and insinuate or try to call somebody a racist. So he said, I need to apologize. I apologize if he read it that way. But that was not my intention to call somebody a racist. I'm just saying it seems a little discriminatory to try to block anybody. So are we going to block people from Long Beach, Michiana Shores, LaPorte? Not calling anybody a racist, but it just seems, why would you block anybody from coming into our public park and say we're just going to reserve that for Michigan City residents? It's just insane to me. And I do know, and I have experienced certain things like that over my years on this earth, but was not the intent to call somebody a racist, not at all. So I resent that remark, and I'll leave it at that. But that one kind of ruffled my feathers a little bit, but I just wanted to address that before we left. I don't know how much time I have left on the clock here, but I just wanted to commend all of our departments, especially the street department that has been helping me fill holes over there in Eastport. See big potholes. I give the message into the street department. They come over and patch up a lot of the holes. Obviously, we can't pave the full street, but they do take care of us in terms of patching up a lot of holes. And nobody is out there, you know, talking about these things because I just simply don't tell anybody. We just do it. And I know a bunch of other council people do that as well. So I just wanted to give shout out to Sean Smith and the street department that they are helping us out. So with that, I will finish comments for this meeting, and I will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Councilman Dabney. Councilman Prisbalinski.
A couple comments. Number one, I want to talk about this Royal Road issue and who owns it and who doesn't own it. And according to the city attorney, Michigan City has the stance that they own Royal Road. The developer does not own Royal Road. Michigan City owns Royal Road. Now, the issue that Ernie was talking about with the fence up close to the roadway, I don't know if that's sitting on a city easement or what, but I will check into that tomorrow. And if that fence needs to be moved, then we will get it moved and put back in the right spot. But Michigan City owns Royal Road. The other thing, I went to the dinner that that we provided for the Michigan City basketball team. That was a week ago, I think Thursday or Wednesday. Yeah, and the basketball team was very thankful, and they wanted me to give a shout out and thank Councilman Cora, Councilwoman Tillman, and myself for making donations for the dinner and it was great food because I went to the dinner. It was very good food. So they thanked us for doing that. And then I think maybe one of the more important issues here deals with NIPSCO and their rate increase. So I took the time to go to the comfort, they called them comfort meetings, over in LaPorte, which, okay, I don't know what the meaning is of a comfort when everybody's kind of upset at them. But anyway, the biggest takeaway that I got from this, besides 2 coloring books for my grandson that I'm going to give him, NIPSCO coloring books. Anyway, where people need help now because the horse is already out of the barn and the bills are coming in and the rate increase is there, is help on paying their bills. Now, there's 2 items here that I picked up that for veterans, they can get assistance, and for senior citizens, they can also get assistance. And let me just read a couple qualifications on each, and then I'll give the website, and then the folks, if they want to get a hold of me or get a hold of NIPSCO, they'll give them the same information. But if you're a veteran, you can be, to qualify, you must meet the following criteria: be a veteran or active duty military, of course, be a NIPSCO natural gas customer, have an account with NIPSCO, have a NIPSCO natural gas account that is past due. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking for help, right? And fall at or below 250% of the federal poverty level. So to fall 250% between the poverty level, you have to be pretty poor. So, I mean, so that's available if you're a veteran. And the same thing, except for you have to be 60 years of age or older to meet it as just a regular customer. And also you have to fall below 250% of the federal poverty level. So if you're having problems paying your NIPSCO bill, which I'm sure a lot of people are, that there are means to which NIPSCO will assist you. Can't say they're going to give it to you for nothing or barely nothing, but hopefully this can help somewhat ease the pain. And if you have any questions, you can call me personally and I can talk to you about this, or you can call NIPSCO or online nipsco.com/assistance. That's what this program's called. So I just wanted to share that with the folks that really need the help. As Councilman Dabney said a couple of weeks ago, you know, majority of people or, you know, people can afford what NIPSCO is throwing at us. But I know that there's probably more than a majority of people that are out there that can't afford what NIPSCO is throwing at them, and they need the financial assistance. So this is one way, and they have other information, but I just had to share that for the people that need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other, Councilwoman Moldenauer?
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I do want to give a heartfelt thanks to Laura Henderson, who served for many years on the Michigan City Tree Board, and she also served as secretary for them. Also, she was a member of the Michigan City Sustainability Commission for several years also. So I just want to be sure she gets recognized for her faithful and dutiful and loyal service to both of those, the board and the commission that she served on. I do want to address the situation on Royal Road where Phoenix Development is working on the data center. Royal Road is owned to the center by Phoenix Development Corporation. I've seen the survey for this. Indeed, they own to the center of the road. They are in process of transferring that to the city of Michigan City. What happened is that when that area was incorporated into Michigan City, nobody thought it was going to turn into a subdivision or a whatever. So easements were never established out there. And I do really trust that our departments that are in charge of this are working on getting that corrected. I've been assured that they are working on this. As far as Mr. Houlihan's complaints, I will be in contact with him tomorrow. I know for a fact he did not call me because he is not on my mobile phone. I do not have a landline, so there's no way my home was called to try to contact me. So I promise him, I promise you that we'll get this worked out, that we're able to be in communication with each other. And I do want to take this moment again to remind people that our Madam President did set up some guidelines for the beginning of our meetings, because we do need that time to be able to communicate with each other and get all of our documents in order before we go into the meeting. I'm sorry he's left already, because I would have talked to him after the meeting, like I said I would. Also regarding NIPSCO and the high utility rates, besides help that's available through NIPSCO, I want to remind you that the Washington Township trustee does have emergency funds for those people that are going to be cut off and cut off abruptly, that they can offer some funds to bridge, between when NIPSCO is able to relieve them and or they're able to pick up with their payments again. I have in the past attended several of the public hearings regarding rate increases. I wasn't able to make it this last time around just because I had either a conflict in conflict regarding meetings, or I wasn't in the area or whatever. But I want you all to know that I have attended those several times and have given voice to the people in Michigan City that are not able to pay their bills. Also, I went through a 3-day workshop with NIPSCO a few years ago and took part in their active planning process for the future. And I was the one person there that really encouraged them to explore and implement green energies, including wind and solar. And I do believe my presence there at that time really helped push them in the direction of looking to alternatives for coal for our area. So that's about Laura, that's about the Royal Road situation, and that's about NIPSCO. And I just really want to thank everybody that takes the time to come and attend these meetings and express whatever your opinions are. And I do listen to all of them. And when I'm writing things down, I'm not doodling or something like that. I'm making notes of things that are important for me to remember and to take into consideration making decisions in the future. So thank you to all of you that come, and some of you come really faithfully. And that's really important to our city to have citizen participation in this process.
Thank you. Are there any other comment?
Yeah, Madam President, one more comment, if I may. And not to start a debate, but according to our city attorney, she has taken the position that Royal Road belongs to Michigan City. And she did not say that she was in any negotiations, but that Michigan City owns Royal Road. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no further comments from the council, may I entertain a motion to adjourn? Second.
Second.
Have a good evening, everyone.